Hello, I bring you greetings from the time zone of wherever you're watching me from. A warm welcome to Victory Time with me, Victory Ikechukwu, as your host. We all know that every Wednesday, around about this time, 10 a.m. Central African time here in Johannesburg, South Africa, is time for Victory Time. So I welcome you all to this wonderful teaching this morning. You are highly welcome. Before we go into the teaching I have for us this morning, I just want us to appreciate God from the depth of our hearts for keeping us alive, for the privilege of you and I being alive. We all know that it's not one of those things. It is really the making of God that you and I are alive today. We appreciate Him. We give Him praise for keeping you and I alive, for making us to see today. The topic I have for us today in this Victory Time is titled 10 Ways Wives Push Husbands Out of Marriage. 10 ways wives push husbands out of marriage. Marriage simply means a legal union between a man and a woman. We all know about that. It's a legal union. There's a legal binding between a man and a woman. It is also an institution. People used to say that some academic institution, you graduate, after a specific number of years or thereabout. But when it comes to marriage, you don't graduate. You keep learning every day. You keep trying to understand your partner, and your partner tries to understand you. It is very, very possible to push our husbands out of marriage with our character or behaviors unknown to us. Most things that women do, they do it ignorantly without knowing that actually they are the cause of the problem they're having in a relationship. Most of the time, they tend to think that the man is the problem or maybe a third party outside. So with this my teaching this morning, I will encourage you to sit back and pay careful attention, because definitely you will be learning a whole lot of things that will be of great help to you in your marriage. This action has a lot of regrettable consequences that we must avoid by all means if we desire changes in our marriage. In this my teaching this morning, I will be sharing 10 points on how wives can push their husbands out of marriage and how we can make amends. I think that's the most important part, how we can make amends, how we can, make changes, how we can, change things that we have done that was really not good. So I will be discussing each and every point one after the other. The 10 points, the ways that women can push their husbands out of marriage. Remember, I said earlier on when I was explaining, most times it's ignorantly, because the woman didn't really know that what she's doing is bad. The point number one there is talking to him disrespectfully. When you talk to your husband disrespectfully, you disrespected him, that can push him away. It definitely will. Addressing him with no regard, both in public spaces and privately, is one of the ways of disrespecting a man. The way you talk to him, the way you address him, even in private and in public, you disrespect him. Men feel highly belittled in this way, and they will resort to avoiding you. They will want to avoid you. They want to stay with you. And before you know it, the man will start coming home late and, avoiding you, not eating your food and all that. They see you are the one that caused it. So really cause for food for thought for women that are watching me or that will watch this video later. You are allowed to be angry as a human, because it's human to be angry when you are dissatisfied, but you are not permitted to disrespect him. Yes, as human, it's free to feel angry, to feel annoyed, but that is not the reason why you should disrespect your husband, no matter the kind of disagreement or argument you people are having. Undermining his authority. You don't need to undermine his authority. So undermining his authority is also a way of disrespecting him. If you disagree with his decision, find a way to discuss the matter with him. Agree to disagree. Be willing to make sacrifices. That's what a really good relationship is all about. Most of the time, you disagree to agree. It happens even I myself, my husband, and in relationship, you always you always disagree to agree. That was point number one, how you push your husband out of marriage. Point number one, talking to him disrespectfully. Point number two, being disobedient. Most women are very, very disobedient. Some women view submission as slavery. Submission is not really slavery. Submission is not that. Rather, it is total obedience. Submission means totally obeying that man, because God made him to be the head. Submitting does not make us lesser, but it actually shows our heart of servanthood. When you're submitting to a man, that does not make you lesser or make you lesser, but it actually shows that you are totally submitting to that man, and it shows that you have a heart of servanthood. Submission is not a thing of the past. You know, some people say, yeah, those are the things of the past. They carry those days that there was no development and all that and all that. No. Here we are now in the 21st century with all the development and all that. Submission is from the Bible. It's scripturally based. It's what God wants us to do. So we must do it. Let us not push it away and say it's archaic, it's outdated, it's those things that our mothers did in the olden days where they don't know anything. It's actually what makes most of their marriages then work. The way divorce is so rampant these days is not like that in those days. With all your educational qualifications and well-paying job, God instructs us to be submissive. We need to obey God's instructions than the societal instructions. So we need to obey God more. It is actually God that said we should be submissive. So we need to obey God more than what the society is saying. If you're struggling to submit, you need to have a conversation with yourself to why this is so. Why am I struggling? Because it's supposed to be with every ease. If you really fall in love with somebody, you get married to that person, you are willing to be under that person, because marriage means you need to be under that person. So you need to talk to your pals about how we can help you to find solution. Maybe you need to go for counseling, because that shows you have a good heart, you really want to change. That was point number 2. Point number 3 says, when you do not allow him to discipline his children. Thank you so much, my beautiful daughter, for watching. God bless you. Yes, when you do not allow him to discipline the children, this is really a big problem. One of the reasons why there is husband and wife in a marriage is so that they can raise the children together in harmony and in love. In most cases, children start to resent their father and even begin to disrespect him because of the way their mother doesn't allow their father to discipline them. Discipline means bringing up the children in the fear of the Lord, the way you want them to be better humans tomorrow. So they need to be disciplined, because if you don't discipline them, they will take up the way they think that is right, and they will mess up tomorrow. So you need to allow your husband to discipline the children. That's the way it is. And most times in life, children, they need somebody who is more firmer. You know, God made us women, we are highly emotional. Sometimes, you know, we're emotional, the way we feel for the children and all that. My husband used to say that children are highly manipulative. They know they can manipulate us mothers because we are very soft. But when it comes to fathers, those things is discipline to bring them up better. Not really that they don't want them to be the best, or they don't want they will say, you want to kill my children. That is nonsense. You realize that the discipline that your parents gave you, that's why you are where you are today. Like myself, I used to say, the Lord, the kind of home training I got really helped me. Not even now in marriage, even when I was in the university days, a whole lot of things I saw. I say, wow, some people don't even know how to wash dishes. Some people don't know how to clean the room in the hostels, what they call rest here in South Africa, in the rest in the universities where we're staying. You can imagine, where is this person coming from? There was no home upbringing. So you should allow the man to discipline the children. Remember, I'm talking about 10 points on how a wife can push the husband out of the marriage. Number 1, I say talking to him disrespectfully. Disrespectfully. When you don't talk to him with respect, you talk to him disrespectfully. Number 2, I said being disobedient. You don't obey him, you don't submit. These are the way that these things you're doing will make the man to leave you and go outside. Point number 3, I say when you don't allow him to discipline the children. Most men, they find it difficult. They don't understand why the wife don't allow them to discipline the children. Let me come here. Sometimes it might be that maybe they are stepchildren, but you should know that any man that love you enough to marry you and marry the children that you have that does not belong to him, he really wants the best for that children. For the man to accept you and accept that child, that is a point for you to know that man really love you. Sometimes when women say, I don't like the way he disciplines my child, is it because it's not his own? No, you're not supposed to bring that word. For that man to accept you and accept the child or the children, that you had that does not belong to him to marry you and bring you and them inside his house. That shows that man really love you. So let us leave all this bias, thinking that we have in our mind that will not help. Most time, children, both boys and girls, they really need the handling of a man so that they can become the better adults we want them to become tomorrow. Point number 4 is misplaced positions. The things that push the man away. Misplaced positions. When the woman takes the husband's position, you want to be the head, as the head. When the woman tries to take the man's position as the head. Our main purpose as wife is to be helpmates. Yes, that's what the Bible says. We need to be helpmates to our husband and not to take over and not to be the head. The Bible didn't say you as a wife should be the head. No matter your financial stand, no matter maybe the kind of job you have, and maybe you are the one that is financially stable than the man. Most marriages, you are envying them. You don't even know what is happening. It might be that the woman is the financial pillar in that home, but she will be covering up. You will not know. So why do you think that because you're highly financially stable than the husband, then you want to be the head? It doesn't work like that. It can't work out like that. You deny him of carrying out his responsibility as the head, and you are always trying to get on the way because you think you're more financially handy. That is wrong. Let's refrain from trying to take over. Even if you are tempted to take over, sometimes some women say they don't like the way their husband behaves like a woman. He is still the head. That is not the reason why you think you can take over or you can be over. No, give him that space. Let him be the man that he's supposed to be, no matter what. I've seen most women that are working, the husband is not working. They still respect him. They still make decisions with him. They still take orders from him and all that. And do you know one thing? When you respect a man, God will bless you. So not because the way you think you are, or sometimes it might be the man was working before he lost his job and all that. Try to respect him. When you respect him, it brings the blessing of God into that marriage. That was point number 4. Point number 5 is looking unattractive. Please, you don't need to look unattractive to the man. You need to look attractive. You need to take care of yourself. When you don't look attractive, these are the things that pushes the man away. Because the man goes outside to see attractive women, the man will be attracted to leave you and go to them. Not taking care of yourself properly. Before your husband got married to you, you always look your best. Actually, those are the things, most of the things that attracted him to you, the way you are taking care of yourself. Now, after he has married you, you are inside his house, the kids have come, you care less about your physical outlook. This can definitely push him away to go outside, because he goes outside, he meets a lot of people that dresses well. Men are attracted to what they see. Naturally, God made them like that. So you need to make him remain attracted to you by taking care of yourself and putting yourself first, which will help to increase your self-esteem and self-confidence. A lot of people, is because of inferiority complex and low self-esteem, they keep shouting and saying their husband is cheating, their husband is going outside, while actually in the right sense, the man is not going outside. It's actually you that you're not taking good care of yourself. That was point number 5. Point number 6 said putting relations in between your relationship. This is really a big problem. Remember, we are talking about how a wife can push the husband outside. These are the things that when you talk to him disrespectfully, that's point number 1. Point number 2, when you are highly disobedient to him. Point number 3, when you don't allow him to discipline the children. Point number 4 is misplaced position. When you try to be the head, you can't be the head. Point number 5, looking unattractive. You don't take care of yourself anymore. There are some men, they left the wife with her pajamas. They will come back home, she's still wearing pajamas. Why? You're supposed to have taken your bath and taken care of yourself. These are the things that most women, they do. They say, besides, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not doing anything. No, you need to take good care of yourself. Point number 6, I said putting relations in between your relationship. Putting your parents, your friends, your relations in the middle of your relationship is highly destructive to your marriage. 2 is a party or a company, and 3 is a crowd, as the popular saying goes. They always say that 2 is a company and 3 is a crowd. So you make sure you and your husband alone should be a company, because when you bring a third party in between, it's really a crowd. That's where the problem starts, and that's where the marriage starts having a problem. As a single individual, it is a common practice for us to share our troubles and woes with those we love. Remember what I say, single individual, that is when you were single. But now you're married, you're supposed to share it with your husband, not taking it outside or bringing a third party in the house. As single individual, it is common practice for us to share our trouble and our woes, our troubles with those that we love or those that love us. It is not a bad thing. It is highly natural. But that is when you're single. But now that you're married, you need to stick to your husband. Go to him and talk about it. Remember, they said communication is the key in marriage and in relationship. However, when many of us are married, we don't try to confide in our spouses. We still want to maintain that relationship we had when we were single with our relations or our friends. However, when we marry our spouse, now that we are married, it should become our goal to share everything with him. I think I just explained this. This way, when we become dissatisfied about something, he should be the first person to know. Or if it has to do with him, you try to sort it out with him. Or if it had tried to do with something else, a family or job, your business or anything, then he will try to try to tell you how you can look for a solution. That's the way it should be. That was point number 6. Point number 7 say be emotionally insensitive. Emotionally insensitive. Remember, we're talking about the ways you push your husband out. When you are emotionally insensitive, you push your husband out. This is the problem with most women. We are highly emotional insensitive. They say women are full of emotion. This. No, you can control it when it comes to your husband, because remember, whatever you do will affect the relationship. So you need to make sure you do things that doesn't affect the relationship. So to be highly emotional insensitive, when you think that the men, they read mind. A man does not read the mind. A man is a human being like you and I. One of the main elements that often leads to separation in marriages is lack of communication. I think I've said this earlier on. Communication is highly needed in marriage. Don't think your husband can read your mind. He knows what is happening in me. He knows why I'm frowning my face. No, talk, open up and tell him. So we need to be highly sensitive. Don't be emotionally insensitive in marriage, expecting him that he should read your mind, should know what is in your mind. No, it doesn't work like that. If you don't share your heart or feeling when asked, you can never come to a common ground with him. Yes, most times when they ask women, are you okay? They say they're fine. No, why they're not fine? Which means you will never find healing. Don't respond with nothing when something is actually bothering you. Sometimes I say, are you fine? They say fine. Is anything bothering you? Nothing. No, while something is actually bothering you, you need to open up and speak up. Learn to speak up and speak out to the love of your life. Remember, you love him before you married him. So you should feel free now to share things, even if it's something that has to do with him. You might be surprised it will change. Sometimes, I talk to my husband, he will not say, oh, sorry, the way you say humorously, and then, we'll sort out things there. Sometimes you even to say it like a child. But without you talking to him, you'll be harboring it and having problem, thinking that this man should know. Maybe sometimes they don't know because he is a human. Remember, I said men, they can't read your mind because they are human. That was point number 7. Now, point number 8 said being hostile. Oh, remember, we're talking about the ways that you can push your husband out of marriage. Number 8 point is being hostile. Some women turn everything into a fight. Oh my goodness, this is really a problem. Your home is seldom peaceful. This is definitely pushing your husband away gradually. Every time there is no peace in the home, the man doesn't know how to talk to you. If he talks to you nicely, it's a problem. If he shouts, oh, that one now you're ready for a fight. He doesn't even know how to approach you. That's a problem, because you are actually making your house not to be peaceful. And remember, it is only when we make a house to be peaceful that it becomes a home. So you should make sure your house is peaceful for the man to always come back home. Men, they love peace and tranquility a lot. If you are not giving him peace, he will seek it somewhere else. Yes, he will literally go out. There's this man sometime that told me about that. There's this man that goes, to a very dirty place, sits, the girl brings a bench, they sit outside, where he has a big jeep, hopeless and all that. The wife doesn't give him peace. Now you're the one pushing him out to go to that little girl in that dirty place. Why? Because there's peace there and that girl respects him. Women will have to be very, very careful. Yes, women should not push their husband away through hostility. When you're so hostile, the man doesn't even know how to talk to you. Every time your face is like him, he doesn't know when you're happy, doesn't know when you're sad. You are actually pushing him outside. He'll be scared coming home. Most of them, when they knock off at work, they will try to stay at the drinking place, drink until they want to make sure by the time they call home, you have gone to bed. Why? You are the one pushing them outside. Why? You're busy complaining to his friend and his relation. You really need to watch your way as a wife. Point number 9, denying him sexual intimacy. Yes. the way to push your husband away when you deny him sexual intimacy. Denial of sex as a means of punishment for your husband's shortcoming or error is really a big problem. Yes, this is not being wise. Most women, they said, okay, I'll get you. And when you come and touch me for sex, I'll deal with you. Please, these things are not really well. We'll have to be very careful about this to know how to handle it. Most women, they always wait for the husband when it comes to sex. So we have to really watch for that. So that was point number 9. Then point number 10 says being a bad cook. This is the way of pushing your husband away. Most women, they don't know how to cook. And some, they know how to cook, they don't want to cook. Being a bad cook or not knowing how to cook and not taking care of your husband's stomach is a problem. Remember the popular saying that the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So most of the time, you need to make sure you cook for your husband. Yeah, sometimes we know some women are so busy, they don't have time to cook. But you need to make out time to cook for the man if you really want to keep him. So don't push him outside because you say you don't have time to cook. Make a research, learn, try to improve on your cooking skill. Learn to cook his favorite meal, his native meals, the meal that he grew up with. Do you know, when I was dating my husband, I'm this kind of a person, I like petty food. Most of the time when we're dating, when we want to meet, you ask him what did you eat, he will answer it himself, tea and bread. I just like tea and bread and all that. They say, maybe that's why you're slim. But what am I bringing here? Do you know that when we got married, my husband likes to eat heavy food. He has made me to eat heavy food like him now. Even sometimes humorously said I eat more than him. Why? Because I love him. I have to make sure that I cook that food that he loves. And sometimes it might be the food that they grew up with as a child they are in love with. Once in a while, you give him that treat. Not always saying you don't have time, you're busy and all that. You're busy complaining how your husband is treating you while you are actually the problem of the way he is being acting to you. So that's all the points I have. Remember the 10 points I mentioned on the way wives can push their husband away. I said number 1, talking to him disrespectfully, being disobedient. Point number 2. Number 3, I said when you do not allow him to discipline the children. Number 4, I said misplaced position. You cannot be the head. He has to be the head no matter the situation. And number 5, I said the point number 5 is looking unattractive. You were taking care of yourself before, now you don't longer take care of yourself. Number 6, I said putting relations between your relationship, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your relation. Number 7, I said being emotionally insensitive, thinking that the man can read your mind. He is a human, he can't read your mind. You need to communicate. Communication is the key. Number 8, I said being hostile, very hostile is not good. Number 3, denying him sexual intimacy because of the mistake he has made or because of, any error he has done to you. Number 10, being a bad cook, not knowing how to cook, not even cooking at all, always complaining. These are the ways that you can push your husband away. Wives should not push their husbands out of their marriage ignorantly, not knowing you are the cause. I've said it earlier on. Because if we did, the children will suffer. Their training and upbringing will be incomplete without our husband, without their father. The absence of a father can cause children to be easily corrupted. They need the firm voice of a man. Yes, that's the father. And also for him to be a role model to them, especially the boys, whom they will look up to for mentorship. Boys always want to have a mentor. Now, sometimes when my husband is talking with my boys, they will say that I'm a woman. It's not women talk. Can you imagine that? But I really appreciate God because He really affecting them positively in the academics and every other thing. I am urging wives to realize that if you push your husband out of the marriage, you will lose your value and your crown. Yeah, you will not start sharing him with another woman outside. I know one thing about these women outside, what sometimes we call as strange women. They know how to do things, to outdo things more than you. They want to, all these points I mentioned, they will never do. They will respect the man. They will look attractive. They will cook for him. They will do whatever they will do to keep him, to make sure he doesn't come to you. So why don't you as a woman put your foot down and said, I will never in my own way push my husband away, whether ignorantly or knowingly. But you need to make sure you keep your man, because it's not easy to lose your husband, because whenever you lose him, bring him back will be a very big problem. So let's do an introspection on ourselves as wives and see how we are inconveniencing our spouses, and let us make amends starting from today from this teaching. So don't say it's too late. My husband is already filing for divorce and all that. You can change. There is always a change. There is always a day to start something, and then you will see something work. God will help you as you ask him for help, and also on your own part, you intentionally start working on your marriage today by going first of all to your husband, asking him for forgiveness, and then start working on yourself. You know, most of this thing is not easy, but when you start, you will see that it's easy because you already started. Just like I said, that God said I should use my practical example. I wasn't this good, I wasn't this perfect, but I started working on myself bit by bit, working on the way I talk to my husband, working on the way I act and all that and all that. There's a whole lot of things that most of these things I've mentioned, I've been there. I was once there. Even there was a time I was not looking attractive because of some things, but God helped me. So you can, because I personally too wanted to change. That's all I have for you today. Keep it there with me, same time, same place, as I bring another inspiring teaching that will help us live victoriously in our everyday life. We can live victoriously if we want to. I'll be back with you next week with another wonderful teaching. See you. Have a blessed week. Bye.